A handsome man with the face of an actor who just stands there, and near him is already the atmosphere of a box office melodrama. This man is right in front of you and is the main character's lover. He was like a model with bright green-blue eyes, and it was worth it just to walk down the corridor, and it seemed that the space around him begins to shine. The heroine's appearance, no matter which way you looked at it, was at most a 3. Although no, she was even below average. She made a fashionable haircut to be more beautiful, but it was a total failure. As a result, her below-average appearance became even more conspicuous. She still didn't understand how they were able to become a couple. Right now, the two of them were alone in the warehouse area of the office they worked in together. The girl was very shy and covered her face with her hands so her boyfriend wouldn't notice her unfortunate hairstyle, and prayed to herself that he wouldn't know. After all, there were more pressing things they could talk about. But the guy leaned over to the girl and said she had a new haircut. The heroine blushed and decided to change the subject by asking him how his day was, and until what time will he be working today. The young man replied that today he would work until 8, and the girl thought that it seemed that they would be the only two in the office at that time. Indecent thoughts of intimacy deep in the night in an empty office immediately popped into her head. The heroine's problem was that she was a real pervert and constantly thought about various indecent things. She never told anyone about it. At the age of 7, she learned how babies are made from a science book with the best positions for conception. After that, she started going to adult movies rated above 29, where only adults went, and she quickly got imagining such a thing in her head hadn't evoked the same emotions in a long time. Not even the thought of her own boyfriend, who apparently had been raised on some special diet for the sake of such unearthly beauty. He asked her what she was thinking, and the girl turned away, covering her face again. In the guy's hands was a glass of hot coffee. He took a sip and burned his mouth, causing him to shriek. The heroine turned around and glared at his lips, and then mentally screamed in despair about how passionately she wanted to kiss them. And not only that, as could be seen, there was a huge gulf between her and her lover. He had the right looks, muscular build, and correct proportions. She, on the other hand, had curly, unruly hair, a regular figure, and chubby legs. She considered herself unworthy of such a handsome man and was ready to fall at his feet, just for the fact that he was looking in her direction. She treated him with the same care as people treat vats of their ancestors' ashes, afraid to touch him as a sign of respect. So with each passing day, her desires only grew, but she kept restraining herself. The girl was trembling, even if the guy barely touched her elbow with his. That was what happened now, and she stepped aside in panic. Being all red, she said she was very hot, even though it was winter and sub-zero temperatures outside. The guy was silent for a long time and then asked if she really wanted to break up with him. The girl was frightened and asked what he was talking about. The guy replied that he didn't seem to know how to bring variety to their relationship at all, and she didn't like him. The girl started to panic, wondering how he could have gotten to that point, since she was ready with him, right there on the table. He sadly said that she was avoiding him all the time and was twitching even from a simple touch. What kind of love is this if they can't even hold hands? Suddenly, one of the office staff went into the back room to find some things. The heroine forgot to mention that their relationship was in secret. This was done for her safety, so that no one would be angry that she grabbed such a handsome guy, because the other girls in the office, out of jealousy, could go to a lot of things and just would unflattering comments in her wake. In order not to be caught, they quickly hid in one of the closets. The guy leaned over the girl and leaned against the wall she was standing against with both hands. This closeness made the girl blush and gasp, and mentally tried to calm herself down. The boy said quietly that there was no need to pretend that she disliked him so much. It hurt him. After all, she didn't like his touch, and it made him feel guilty about the situation. The girl replied that he had it all wrong. She wasn't herself, trying to restrain herself, and ended up misleading him. Her heart was pounding frantically at the fact that the distance between them was almost non-existent. It was as if the pheromones were making her lose her mind, and then she couldn't stand it and blurted out that she actually dreamed of a lot of intimacy with him, but she couldn't do it because she was sure that he would be uncomfortable doing it with her because he was incredibly attractive. The boy was surprised and froze, not expecting such a confession. Then the girl asked if she could touch his lips with hers, and without waiting for an answer, she kissed him. Afterward, she became embarrassed, said she hadn't been sleeping well lately, and asked him not to go to the police, complaining about the kiss as harassment. She then nervously said she was afraid he would leave her once he found out she was a pervert. The young man silently took the girl by the back of her head and pulled her against him, pulling her into a deeper kiss. He followed that up by saying that he had felt very strongly about the whole time, and though he didn't know everything, she had always seemed insanely nice to him. He asked her not to hold back and to tell him everything. They held hands and pressed their foreheads against each other, happy that all problems were solved.